Dummy Switch Pod. The boys are back. How are you, Chris?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good as I'm good. Can't complain about the weekend's results too much, although there's a lot to say, but I'm good, man. How's it going?
Yeah, result, positive result, but the performance.
Hey,
Myself, I think it was the opposite way around, where it was like the result was bad, the performance was
yeah.
okay, I guess. But yeah, we are here, Dummy Switch Pod, Flagrant
Mm-hmm.
Podcast, Dan
Yes,
Carter's of
sir.
podcasting here to give you our opinions, our flagrant takes and our opinions. Obviously, you can share yours in the comments and just let us know what you think. Church
Mhm.
announcements. Obviously, you can find us here, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Twitter, all the socials, that kind of stuff. But yeah, let's start with the Sharks and Sharks versus Zebra. It started
Yeah,
great and
good
then
start. Yeah,
just went all over the place.
yeah. Good start, well worked tries, and then it's almost like they thought that was going to be the order of the day, and then you let Zebra. I think we've seen Zebra has improved, in the way
Yeah.
that they play, dangerous. And if you become loose, then that's what's going to happen. I don't think there's so much an issue with the shots attack, really. It's more now. It's
The
like they fix
defense.
certain issues, and then other things come up.
Yeah.
Because the defense, the scrums and the mauls were much better this game. Yes, it was Zebra, but
Yeah.
much better. You
But
know,
one thing I want to say about the scrum is, especially early on, you could see the Sharks got the dominance, and you could see that this is going to be a tough day for the Zebra pack. But it's almost like the Bulls did against the Sharks, where there becomes like an over reliance on the scrum, where it's like we're winning here, so this is kind of like all that matters for now. When it's like
yeah,
there's so many other parts of the game. You can't
yeah,
just be like, well, we're getting penalties from here, so we should be fine.
and it goes back, um, to the coaching, to the plan, to what is the way that the Sharks, how do they play? What's their
Yeah.
identity really? In terms of how they're going to win championships, and it goes right up. Director of rugby coach, scrum coach, attack coach, defense coach, everyone, including the
But you
players.
saw you saw the best part of that for is that where
15,
Ox, the hands
yeah,
put my pimp
15
in there.
minutes maybe. Yeah.
That's where you see like the best of their plan, but it's kind of like we saw it in that space and then other things keep on breaking down.
Yeah,
Which
you
also
know,
like you said, is like what do these guys do at practice?
yeah, man. Because I mean, even the game drivers, I mean, I don't think there was any real control from the Hendrickson brothers in 9 and 10,
Yeah.
and direction in terms of okay, look, this is what we're doing, and there's nobody there commanding, giving that, especially from that backline view, being able to see exactly what's happening and saying, okay, all right, let's move to this plan, let's do this. You don't see that. Hendricks is out there, giving status update passes, so everyone can see. And, like it's you in positions to put the nail and hammer a team, and, you're not executing. And yeah, like I say, and, had a little bit of a exchange over X with Mr. Lula about this, to say, hey, it's the coaching, it's also the
Yeah.
coaching. They got to look at it, and I've been calling for, we need some outside IP as well if we're really going to be, a top international club side,
Yeah.
because that's where we are. But there's good things. There's a lot of things to like, because yes, you could see on defense, I think if you look at it and you watch it again, defensively, they were making the hits, but that whole plan relies on dominant hits and pushing a team backwards. But the difference is Zebra wasn't engaging in the contact; they're keeping the ball alive and
Yeah.
just moving the shots. And you don't have an out and out fetcher. You got Pepsi, Chituka, Kolisi there. All guys that can, they can, yeah, play in the tram lines, and maybe they can also play through the middle. But
Yeah, and
no,
there, like, just on that loose forwards, you've got a situation now where it was Williams and Kolisi driving the team for, let's say, the past 2 weeks before this. Williams, obviously, it was Hendrickson that started. So now you've got Kolisi. You've seen the impact that he's continued to
Yeah,
have.
yeah,
The the loose trio, though, it's like the other two guys can't really
mhm,
get it going. You've got, they don't look like themselves. Chituka struggled to look like himself since the Lions days. But
yeah.
even besides wearing a scrum cap, which he doesn't, so he didn't even look like himself. But
He
you
didn't.
know,
He didn't.
they're not playing, to where they should be playing.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing, and it's like maybe, yeah, next season it's got to be new voice, because I mean, how long are you going to allow this to happen,
Yeah,
or to continue? Because yeah, yes, it's all papering over cracks, yeah, fine, you're getting the result, but you're not going to win championships if you're leaking tries,
yeah, no, no.
and
If Zebra is
you know what I'm
cutting
saying?
you up like this,
Yeah, it's really because on attack, yeah, you can see, yes, the guys are there, the qualities there because of, I think also it's because of the players that you've got, you know. They just by default you've got your Springboks in there that are almost sort of going into that peak, going because international season, yeah, it's a few months away, but those guys are looking sharp, or some of them, or let me say
yeah,
most, except Hendricksa wasn't. I don't think he's been, really at his best.
yeah,
So it's just and also things like we can see, man, the support because there's little half breaks. There's times where it was looking good, but then it breaks down because maybe the support is not there. It's a poor offload, or it's yeah, it's frustrating for a team of this
yeah,
quality, in terms of where they should be, where everybody knows where they should be, but they they're not getting there, and that's why I say it's a tough decisions, tough conversations.
yeah, yeah. From my side, just looking at this team, there's two things. Number one is the coaching, because I think of, you know, Cash Van Rooyen if he was in charge of this team, and I don't even rate Cash like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't even rate him like that, but I think he could do a better job with this group of players.
Yeah,
So from a coaching perspective, I agree they're not there. Defensive coach as well. It's
yeah,
not there. And then again, for all the personnel that they have, for all the Springboks they have, for even taking Edwill van der Merwe next season, that he's even going to the Sharks,
yeah.
they don't have in the most key position of 10, also 15.
Mm,
There's problems, there's issues.
there
And the
is.
drop off is just too big. Okay, when you look at Q and Horn for Lions, Q and Horn goes down, Mafura comes in. Different player.
Yeah,
One is obviously a Springbok, but both internationals, but like they're solid players. Like there's the drop off from Fasi to Immelman.
yeah, it's big.
You saw a sniper even took him out for that one try. Like the drop off, the fact that they even had to call him, and then the
Yeah,
Kunene that was there. It's those are the two
yeah,
issues for all the riches that they have. The Sharks
yeah,
barely have a 10. They barely have a 10. It
yeah,
seems like it's Masuku. Masuku's gone. Hendricksa, no direction.
yeah.
15 15, come on. So it's those two things for me. It's you need to sort it out, man. You need to
They
sort it
do.
out.
They do. I mean, you could even hear, and I think it was like in the second half, you could hear, I don't know if it was one of the players or one of the part of the coaching staff, saying, wake up. I think
Yeah.
it was after there was like a technical error where I think somebody joined the line out, but yeah, it was at line out time. But things like that where they're just lethargic. They just, man,
Yeah.
like honestly, but at the same time, like I say, there's those good glimpses where you can see that okay, yes, but we've been saying that,
Yeah.
we've been saying that, and now it's how many games? Like 5 games left, and yeah, and also it's just the shape, the pet. It doesn't look like there's any particular shape in terms of okay, yeah, you can see they want to get to the trams, but also
Yeah.
creating those 2-on-1s or those type of situations, it's not happening. They sideways running, passes not finding the man, but it's you take the win, but also you just think to
Yeah.
yourself that they're gonna get found out, if
Me as a whole,
against the
I won't lie, I was hoping they were gonna lose just for the drama. Just for the drama, I was hoping they were gonna lose. I was just saying, no,
no.
they must lose so I can talk to Chris and see what he says.
I was gonna be. I look. I think it is still going to be the same because it's the same issues. Because they could
Yeah,
have easily lost that game. They could have
yeah,
easily lost that game. The scrum insurance. That's what got them.
yeah,
That helped them. To secure that win. In my view. And credit to the pack in terms of those ABCs and those basics, and also when they took those opportunities. But the other parts of their game are shame.
yeah.
It's
Scrum coach is like, I did my job, but that meeting that they probably had where now guys are getting shouted at. These like, I mean, I've done my job. You
did my
guys,
job, but it is scrappy, man. It's scrappy. And
yeah,
like I say, you don't see yeah, you can see the tram lines, but then outside of that, what else are you trying to do?
yeah,
You got those chips and chases. There's really, man, it's just, there's no creativity as well, really. It's
yeah,
just relying on the youngsters to try and do something. So,
yeah.
but yeah, man,
Yeah, just to cap that one off, Mapimpi back, he's looking sharp.
he is
Kolisi
sharp.
obviously at 8.
Mm,
We'll see how far that develops in terms of even nationally, if we could see him at
yeah,
8 again. And then Esther Hazen, he was on the bench coming back, so we'll see him. This team, they're gonna make it to playoffs, they're gonna win the first one, and then they're gonna lose the second one. That's just how I feel. But as we move on, Lions versus Cardiff. This one, Lions team
eh,
basically full strength there, in there and about, except for Vandenberg. He wasn't there. Niku Stain came in for him, did a good job, but I think we still saw
there was
what
something
happens
missing.
when you take out the Springbok, when you take out Mone Vandenberg,
Mhm.
that he was missed. Uh, this week for the Lions, Edwill, obviously he was linked with the Sale Sharks. Now in a U-turn, now he's going to the Sharks, the Rock Nation Sharks. Uh, Marius Lowe as well. He's going to the Sale Sharks. So, and I mean, for me, I actually like Marius Lowe in this game. So it's gonna be a big miss when he leaves. This one, I felt like we played okay, played in the right areas of the field as well,
Yeah.
but Cardiff were just causing disruptions in terms of they'll hold a player up or they'll get a turnover when you're
Yeah.
like deep in their half. So it's like we are getting into the right places, we're playing in the right area, then there's a disruption. Then you have to
Mm.
start all over again. And you just weren't clinical. Where Cardiff 122 entry, one try. They were living off scraps, but they were getting the points. So
Yeah.
it's just the disruptions. It was some nice stuff, in the beginning, especially for dominating in Klabakanya's try, but after that, just couldn't finish anything.
Yeah. I think just, especially when they were making the entries, I think
Yeah.
guys like Landsberg, I think I've seen quite a few moments now where in those situations where he doesn't control the ball, and
Mm.
secure the ball. But not only him, but a number of the guys where you're on the front foot, just look after the ball. You're in the 22 or you're about to get into the 22, look after the ball. They don't help themselves. For me, I'll say personally, especially there at the end, I think they were robbed,
Mm.
of, potentially a scrum, another opportunity to actually, but they also didn't help themselves. It's just, frustrating, yes, but like you mentioned, guys are missing, and you take that and you look at it and you say, look, again, it's one of those where they will kick themselves.
Yeah.
It's been like this for a few weeks now for the Lions, where they've had games in their grasp where they could actually do something, and they've just haven't been able to just
Yeah.
find that click, to make it happen. But I think also missing a bit of street smarts in some situations, because especially around the rocks where the Cardiff guys were slow in getting up, sometimes you pick and go in that direction and
Yeah,
you because you're away from them, you try those situations, but yeah, they Cardiff was also disruptive, at the breakdown. Not allowed, just allowing themselves to set, just and after that, the Lions just no plan, no second plan, and I think
yeah,
that's what mm, sort of made it a sort of a dogfight really at the end, But it was good stuff though from
yeah.
the Lions.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it's they're just not taking that next step. They're not
Mm,
taking. I mean, the Sharks, when you play the Sharks, there was that opportunity to win. You disappointed, you didn't do it, but
mm,
that can't be repeated again and again and again. Because in this game, you're going to say the same thing, like, "Ah, we were there about." It's then it's not unlucky. Then it's
mm.
just this is just the limitation on the team. This is just
Yeah,
where the team are. It's not like, oh, we are unlucky to lose. It's just this is the level that you're at. You are
yeah,
2 points away, team, from winning always. You can't
yeah,
it's just say it was on the day. So
yeah.
it's that for me. They're just not taking the step up, whether it's because of, personnel, whatever reason, and it's only gonna get worse in terms of we've said those players are leaving. So
Yeah, but it can't always be personnel, because if you look at it, for example, like a guy like Russ, I think he had, in the past few weeks, he's been, having good games, definitely.
mm,
And in this game, just nothing was happening on the after him, he was just taking the ball up too much into contact, it wasn't going out. They were just it was dying there in the 13 channel. So there's I think there's aspects to it, like you say, maybe these are the limitations, but for him, you'd want him to find another gear, another way
yeah,
to create for other guys, especially from 13, because look at, when Van Veek is on, compared to him,
yeah,
definitely there's gonna be that go forward, with Russ, it's more, he's cutting back inside into traffic, and it's, so things like that for me, where I think they can definitely, do better. And
yeah.
and you can create things, and I think that's where they're lacking right now, is the next guy that's also going to bring something or
Yeah,
different to
that's when
keep
you
that
take
momentum,
Nohamba, when you take Nohamba out, he fitted this side perfectly because of the creation when you're living on scraps and you're trying to,
Mm.
run the ball and do those kinds of things. Lombard, yes, he's good, but he's not like that type of a
Yeah,
player. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And like you
yeah.
say, Rest as well. It's not really that type of a player. So
Mm. But that's the thing, is that with what they have, I mean, they there. You have to find a way, to show your value. Can't just be defense where, okay,
these guys, let
you
me tell you something. They're waiting for those UJ boys to
know,
grow up. Though that's
yeah,
where they're waiting for those guys because there's no one coming. There's no one coming in to save us. They're waiting for those
yeah,
UJ boys to grow up, and then that's where the creativity is gonna come in from.
uh,
Or you've got to wait for someone from another union to get disgruntled and
mm,
then bring them like how we brought Low and Nohamba. So we'll continue to watch. We'll watch at the Sharks there.
yeah.
Whoever's unhappy, we'll watch also Stormers. Whoever's unhappy, we'll bring you over, and then we'll wait for the UJ boys because that's
Yeah,
basically
true.
how it's gonna go.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's where it will go quarters, but these are guys that are there now, and
Yeah.
it's gotta be, you gotta do better, man. It's the chance, you're trying to get into the top eight, you're trying to,
We're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it. I think
but you know what I mean?
last season was the season to try, but it is what it is. We'll see. We'll go again. We'll go again.
Yeah,
Uh, Moving
never
on
lost.
to Scarlets versus Stormers. This one, major news was Sacha at 10,
Yeah,
Lubbock still out, and then you got Willems on the bench. It looked in the beginning like it could be like a bit of a frustrating game, and you don't know, like, are they gonna click? especially being away from home, are they going to click or is it just going to be one of those days where everything you try just doesn't go right?
Yeah.
And then it all went right in terms of Gelant.
Ah,
He's gonna
Lungelo.
try. Whatever that guy, he doesn't
Yeah.
die wondering, he's gonna try, and it paid off. And he was the difference in terms of creativity for the team.
Yeah. And hey, when it pays for him, it pays, eh?
Yeah,
Hey, when it pays, yeah, I know it pays. And look, he was hot over the weekend, and I think it was more frustrating game. Stop start too much.
yeah,
It was, but for me, it was just good to see. I think the Stormers carried on that sort of theme of bringing their physicality, and I'll say it's good to see Murat getting using that big frame of his
mhm,
because I think it's those little differences where guys are just they 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 fighting hard. You can see that they trying to bring that intensity. It's good to see the guys back, Sacha and them. Milan even they looked even more confident.
yeah,
There's just more settled. Even in the pack as well. They strangely enough, and I don't want to speak too early, but they're looking like okay, they're coming into a right
yeah. They could make
spot
a run.
now. Yeah, and what I liked as well is Sasha. You could see he was commanding there. He was
Yeah,
talking. He wants to be that guy, for them because he's that guy, So things like that you're looking at, that okay, they look like they could do something, while taking tries, But I think yeah, really a frustrating game. Too much stop start, which yeah, I guess it's the nature of the game with those injuries and things like that. But
yeah,
I think for them, in terms of from where they were, they'll be happy, to come away, get the bonus
yeah.
point, and and just yeah, I think a good way to start, overseas.
Yeah, I think also when you see Loader having a good game, I think Herschel also he was,
Yeah, decent game as
he
well.
was decent as well. It's always a shame when the guy that's leaving starts to play well. Sacha
Yeah,
also, you rarely get to see him at 10 for the Stormers, so they'll build. Good start to the tour for them.
yeah. It's just the last 10 minutes. The comedy of errors there. I think if they can cut out things like that, where they can also just look after the ball, respect the
Mm,
ball, and yeah, they look they grounded out at the end. Yes, there was flash, but they worked. I think their pack also worked very hard. In
yeah,
terms of
yeah,
defensively, defense, they were. I think they were working very very hard. And it showed. As much as yes, um, what you call it, Scarlets got scored. But I think overall they'll be pleased in terms of where they are. It wasn't easy for them to be broken down. You know.
yeah. Moving on, Bulls at home versus Leinster. Keegan Johannes was playing at 10. I
Yeah,
think that was the thing that kind of like stood out for me.
yeah,
Veli, after this game, he'll be out for a short time. So they had their crisis at 10. It looks like they're going to have a bit of a crisis at 15 as well, with Immelman gone as well. So he can't even play. So, yeah, for me, this wasn't a great watch. I don't think there was much in terms of entertainment factor. Leinster, they they hung around and they're just annoyingly good, even with this being like a half second team. But they still
yeah,
have the quality of RG. They still have Barrett there, and they're just so good at the fundamentals. Like the first try was just pure, we beat you in the kicking game.
yeah,
Then they'll end up recovering possession, and then two phases it's a try. But
yeah.
that all comes from the basics of kicking, which has been a problem for the Bulls. For me, I think they should keep Keegan Johannes at 10. Just it wasn't
Let
bad.
him play. No,
It
let him
wasn't
play.
bad. So at the same time, it wasn't great, but it's like let him get at least 2, 3 games and let's see
Yeah,
what we've got here.
yeah.
So that's the thing for me. And then obviously their scrum just bailed them out completely
That
at the
was
end there. Completely at the
yeah.
end there, smash and grab. Jake had even packed up. He even he even left. He even took his little clipboard and pencil case. he was walking. I'm sure he was down. He was in the stairwell when they won. I
Yeah.
don't know if he made it all the way to the change room, but like, I'm sure he was ready to give a losing speech. But now he's
The
giving
hair
a winning
dryer
speech.
treatment was coming, you know. But look, you know, you must also give. I think the Bulls, give them credit, like you say, half second team from Leinster. You know, the moments, even when they were down with the yellow, it only cost them 3 points, you know, which is, I think, you know, would show that these guys were up for it. And I mean, you saw guys like Chakwen who just after that, you know, may having an impact. So, like, I think on the balance, you know, they fought for that, you know, yes,
Yeah,
smash and grab, but I think, you know, overall, you know, they had as much as Leinster's basics were very good, you know, I mean, even their running lines is just, you know, clever lines, the way that they're passing the ball, you know,
yeah,
understanding how they need to let go of the ball in contact. And it's just those subtle little skills, you know, that you can see that quality, you know, but I think for the most part, the Bulls had a lot of the momentum and they also, you know, failing to capitalize when they should, you know, and yeah, you know, at the end of the day, then you know it had to be a smash and grab. But yeah, they're gonna. I think they'll still have issues. You know, I
yeah,
think they still have issues. You know, going forward. Yeah, they're in the top half, top four. They'll. I think also with them, you know, they'll also make the playoffs. You know, but thereafter it's going to depend on personnel, you know, who's available for them if they've got
yeah.
everybody there. But yeah, you know, it does. I think even guys like Sebastian de Klerk, he put his hands up. But for me, it's just
Nah,
like,
for me, I'm
eh,
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not in on De Klerk. For me, good player, but I see too much weakness in terms of not just
yes,
the card, but when it comes to
the
like
finishing even.
the kicking stuff, that's where I have an issue to say that yes, good enough to start there, but he was in the lineman camp and so on. I personally, yeah, he's got speed. He's got a bit of X factor, but beyond that, I'm not buying yet. I'm not buying any
No, no,
stocks
no,
yet.
no. Look, I'm not talking about stocks, you know, I'm just talking about the fact that, you know, his work rate was a lot of the difference. You know,
Yeah,
he was really working hard. And I think that epitomized what the Bulls were about on the weekend was, you know, work rate. And you could see that they had a plan in terms of how to try and stop, you know, those loops, the running lines from Leinster, especially early on. But as the game went on, you know, obviously get moved left to right.
yeah,
You know, it's gonna happen. You know, it's gonna happen. But you know, I think overall, a lot of the guys, you know, put their hands up. Escom coming off the bench, you know, I think his
hmm,
impact, you know, Hanekom was just doing his thing. You know, there I think that game was just about it was they were gonna work. And you saw the tempo that Leicester were playing at, the way that they move the ball. It's
yeah,
you know, but then ESCOM came on impact. I think even, yeah, the bench of the Bulls, they really, as well, you know, took it home and got them to that position where they could, you know, so smash and grab, which I don't think, you know, if you, when you look at it again, you know, the Bulls as well, they shouldn't have allowed that game to be that tight
yeah,
because they had opportunities, you know, and yeah, but really, he'll be missed because you saw the
yeah,
difference. They were shaky at first, Johannes and Papir, but then once Vili, you know, started showing the way, you could, you know, it was just that momentum, you know, the blue machine. You could
yeah.
see it coming, but they just also the
But
execution was
I
poor.
believe they've done okay, especially I'll say in this game to weather that injury storm and say yes, it's a long season. We need to get results even with players not there. They've done it. I think they'll be happy about this one that they were able to do it. And I think
Yeah.
even with Vili being out, I think they'll be okay. I
Mm.
think they'll manage to be okay. I see it continuing more of the same, like with Hussen being out and them not having a 10. I think
Yeah.
they'll be okay.
Yeah, but hey, if that's the case, and even guys like Stravino Jacobs he'll need to do better. I think he'll be a bit
Yeah,
disappointed. He wasn't one of his best outings, I think, yeah, he was trying, but yeah, it wasn't happening for him, you know. So
Yeah,
I
Moody
guess
was
those,
missed.
yeah. And then question: was it a yellow card? Did he rap or did he try and rap or did he not try to rap Chuck Wayne?
I think it's a yellow. I don't. But you know what the thing is, I think that I'm not disappointed that that's a yellow or whatever. Like, okay, fine, that's a yellow. But for me,
Yeah.
the Leinster try, where the guy had like half a finger on it.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, so that for me was the more egregious refereeing decision.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
the yellow, I can take the yellow,
Yeah.
fine, okay, if you want to say that. He did have an arm,
He did
kind
try to
of.
rap for me,
Yeah, he
you
he
know?
did have an arm, kind of. So it's okay, fine, take that one. But the try,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, that's I wanted to lead up to that to say no that you know I think this game a lot of the time I mean even at the end the referee was he didn't want to make a decision, you
Yeah,
know, he didn't want, he said no, we're gonna do this all day, he says like
yeah.
we're gonna do this and I was just like, dude, isn't it like supposed to be like after the second reset they have to make a decision, you know, on.
The thing is, I believe he did it the correct way because
Okay,
I think that other referees are too hasty to just blow and they don't even know what's going on. Like the first scrum will go down and they'll just be like, I guess this guy looks like, even last
yeah,
week he was winning the scrum, so let me give
yeah,
it to him. Where like you should have at least one, if you don't know, if it just goes down, just have another reset, have another one even. So I'm
yeah,
more on the side of like doing it until it's done correctly than
okay,
just it goes down and then you just blow and then say,
yeah. No, because I mean, like you said, other referees, and that's the thing. What I'm getting at is that like it's just those, and I
yeah,
think you can say that in across all the games. You know, there were decisions where it was just like, okay, you know what,
yeah,
it's just it's difficult to understand. You know, because there's no consistency in that aspect of the game. You
yeah,
know, so that's just my little my little observation that you know is for South African teams, you know, it's tough out there, you know. It's tough out there
yeah,
with these European referees, and it's guys will have to adapt, you know, especially if you're going to be playing knockouts, and you know, there has to be that,
mm.
you know. But yeah,
Yeah. We move on to the next fixtures. Ulster's hosting Stormers, Bulls against Zebra. Bulls should get that win. Sharks hosting Leinster.
hey,
And then we've got Glasgow hosting the Lions, who are going to lose, unfortunately. Um, but yeah,
guys,
any closing remarks from you? I think
look,
Sharks at home. Yeah, it'll be. I mean, Leinster's going to be Leinster. You're gonna the same performance that you got. You're going to get
yeah,
again. So it's
yeah,
just whether the Sharks can deal with that. But I
I can have a
think
plan.
they'll rise to the occasion.
Selection for me is going to
Mm,
be key to that. You know, they have to be able to stop Leicester's breakdown and offloads, not allow them to play with tempo. But
yeah,
otherwise, it's going to be a long day. You know.
yeah. I think that's it from us, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we are.